Good morning and thank you for joining us on Thriving on the Suncoast. I have two exciting announcements today. I'm proud to announce that today is the 17th anniversary of Comfort Keepers of Sarasota and Manatee County. Yes, 17 years ago I founded the local offices of Comfort Keepers Home Care with my wife Charlotte. And anyone who's been in home care knows that that is certainly no small feat. Since the beginning, it's truly been a labor of love and an honor to serve our elder community and their families. I'm also excited to announce that my show, Thriving on the Suncoast, has been awarded the 2017 Caregiver Friendly Award by Today's Caregiver magazine and Caregiver.com in the media category. This award recognizes organizations who would understand the value of supporting family caregivers and have created something that not only helps a caregiver for their loved ones, but also improves his or her quality of life in the process. I am so proud each week to bring you cutting-edge information that will enhance your health and your wealth. Today's show will be no exception. You will learn unique ways that you can live a longer, healthier life. If you've been connected with healthcare in this area, you will know or have heard of our guest today. For the past 17 years, until 2014, Darlene Arbit has been the CEO for the Jewish Housing Council with management responsibilities for its retirement community, a large multifaceted senior living campus encompassing Anshin, Coburnick, and Benderson. Darlene has more than 30 years of experience in geriatric and healthcare fields and has numerous professional credentials and was appointed by Governor Scott to the Assisted Living Work Group. She is now the Chief Operating Officer of Alive Sciences. Darlene guides this innovative Sarasota company dedicated to helping individuals and healthcare organizations identify the warning signs of health problems, managing chronic conditions, and enhancing personal well-being through partnerships with other health technology developers and other care providers. Alive Sciences is deploying the Rothman Index, a patented, easy-to-understand early warning system. This index is now available outside the hospital setting to support individuals' wellness and residential care programs. Joining her is Dr. G. Duncan Finley. For 5 years, Dr. Finley has been the former president and CEO of Sarasota Memorial's healthcare system. He now serves as the president and CEO of the Florence A. Rothman Institute, which is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to conduct and support research which develops and utilizes innovative techniques for analysis of the data within electronic medical records. This helps to improve the healthcare delivery. He's also the Chief Medical Officer of Alive Sciences. Excuse me. Alive Sciences is a company devoted to the prevention of unnecessary human suffering by transforming how patients are monitored in acute healthcare settings. Well, that was a mouthful, but you guys are really up to a lot. I'm honored to have you on the show today. Dr. Finley, tell us about this Rothman Index, as it's so unique.
Yeah, let me just ask you a question, and I want the people in the audience to think about this. Have you ever had a loved one or friend in the hospital who seemed to be not doing as well as you expected, and yet nobody seemed to be noticing? It's a very common thing. Almost everybody has that. Well, that's sort of the genesis of what we call the Rothman Index, which is named after Florence A. Rothman. And you'll see we have the Farr Institute, which is also named after her. And she was a patient who deteriorated in the hospital, actually while I was CEO there, and it was not recognized until she had deteriorated to the point it was sort of a crisis situation. So her two sons tried to understand why that could happen. We're a very competent, and Sarasota Memorial was a very highly regarded and is maybe the best public hospital.
But this kind of thing happens all the time.
But it happens all the time.
Somebody's doing well, and then all of a sudden, you know.
It's like a gradual thing. You know, if somebody has a major stroke or falls out of bed, that's pretty obvious.
Sure.
But if day by day they're getting a little worse, what's that? So these two sons decided that they would try to fix that, and we worked with them. And they studied and did basically big data, original big data research. This started in 2005.
Wow.
So they were cutting edge on using techniques of finding the information that's in the data that's already in the electronic medical record. And their goal was to sort of do a FICO score. You know what a FICO score is?
Let's put up the graph on the screen here
Yeah,
about the
so-
Rothman
so-
Index, and you can tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
Yeah, so you could see automatically, if you had an electronic medical record, and that's another story, but that this patient was not as good yesterday as he was today. This is particularly appropriate now because in this day and time, when you're in the hospital, or I'm in the hospital, we're seen by almost a different person every day, okay? Your primary care doctor doesn't go to the hospital to see you anymore. I think that will
that's what I heard.
certainly
You got
resonate
hospitalists
with
now
your
and
audience.
various things like
It's
that.
the hospitalists. The hospitalists have many good things that they do, but
Yeah.
one of the things is they don't know the patients. And number C, they're shift workers, so they're changing shifts. And there's so much information out there about patients today, people are deluged by data. And
Right.
so what's actually going on? So this is what they tried to do, and if we can show that graph,
Yeah.
you can see, so if you're coming in today and see the patient's here and was there, then you got a clue.
You
and
make
that
it
clue-
very, simple for people to see in black and white where somebody is on the health score.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
how they compare to themselves.
Yeah.
So the
that's-
graph is really all about the specific patient, not a group of patients.
Because everybody, obviously the nurses come in, they take vital signs and so forth. How is it that this is different with the index
Yeah.
that's different than just, noticing a little change in the vital sign?
That's the genius of it,
Yeah.
okay? Because if I'm a doctor and you got a pulse of 90,
Yeah,
what does that mean?
yeah. I don't
Could
remember-
mean 1,000 things.
I don't remember what it was yesterday or 2 days ago or a week
that.
ago.
But then again, if you got a lot of little things that by themselves may not seem significant, but yet you can give them a certain value, then they then add up. So this cumulative score, which we call the Rothman Index, now it makes meaning out of stuff that might be
So that's
individually.
the genius of it. That
It's the
takes
genius of it.
massive computer technology to crunch all
Massive
this
computer
data.
technology and to add things together that are very different. You measure your blood pressure in millimeters of mercury, your temperature in degrees Fahrenheit or centigrade. You measure your blood potassium level in this chemical milliequivalents per liter. How do you put them all on the common scale? And they figured out how to do that.
So what are the benefits for knowing this score and how does it work on it?
Well, the benefits are, number one, if you see somebody changing, you can go be a doctor and a nurse. So that's the one thing that we don't do is say, if the Rothman Index is this, you do that. We say, okay, if the Rothman Index is what you expect it to be, because I'll give you an example. Suppose a doctor is treating a patient with a new therapy and the patient's not getting better. That's a signal in itself. And again, as Darlene says, the fact that the patient is their own control, you're looking at patients comparing against themselves. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. We have to go to break right now. When we get back, you do not want to miss how the Rothman Index might save your life. Stay with us.
Let's face it, life happens, and the laws change daily. Attorney Joseph Len can help guide you with legal issues you may face while aging. Len Law has helped countless clients in Sarasota and Port Charlotte in assistance with guardianships, Medicaid planning, VA planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, probate, and Social Security disability claims.
I'm elder law attorney Joseph Len. At Len Law, seniors matter. Your rights matter. And the legacy that you built matters.
Is mom really taking her medications? A Comfort Keeper can ensure that your loved one gets their medications on time, providing peace of mind for families in need of flexible in-home care. Comfort Keepers, let our family take care of yours.
Hey, welcome back. I'm here with Darlene Arbit and Dr. Finley of Live Sciences and the Rothman Index. We're talking about an amazing technology now that's been created. Tell us we talked about how this score, we get this score. Has it been proven?
Yeah, this is obviously very important. And first, let me say there are 19 publications in peer-reviewed journals that validate the accuracy of the test.
Okay.
And those things are available.
Yeah.
The second thing is results.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the hospital world, and we're going to go to the rest of the world shortly. Houston Methodist, one of the premier hospitals in the country in the last year reported a 30% reduction in mortality in their patients. I mean, it is kind of unbelievable.
People need to be sitting up and taking notice for that.
Yeah, and it's
Where else have you tested?
Also, one of the Yale New Haven hospitals did the same thing.
Okay.
We actually did an early trial at Sarasota Memorial and had similar numbers. They were so good we didn't believe them.
Wow.
I mean, can you reduce mortality in our hospitals by 30%? Actually, it's there to be done.
Does it save the insurance companies money? That's what they really want to know.
Well, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I have some bad.
So Darlene, this has worked so well in the hospital setting. It seems like people need to have this in their homes.
Right. Most people don't spend their life in a hospital setting.
Right.
And I really was privileged and pleased that Stephen Rothman and Duncan Finley approached me while I was CEO of the Housing Council and asked would our campus be the alpha site to test the Rothman Index in the non-acute world. And of course, I said yes immediately. So we took a pilot group of 38 residents who lived independently, as well as using our nurses. Our assisted living was a medical model, so we had nurses round the clock. And they also tested the Rothman Index in assisted living while we were building our nursing home. And the results were staggering. Out of our 38 residents, there were several who were on a decline. Our wellness clinic was able to pick that out and suggest to them that these residents go and visit with their doctor. And in fact, we were able to reverse the downward trajectory.
Wow.
Will that happen every time? I'm sure not. But we all know that for many, many years, we really focused on treatment. Physicians focused on treatment. The new trend, and the trend that always should have been, is focus on prevention. That if you catch somebody early in a decline, you have a much better chance of reversing that decline.
Of course.
And you have a better chance of keeping them out of the hospital, letting them stay in their own home. You're in the home business. You know how important it is for your clients to be able to manage their conditions with help in their own homes. Nobody wants to go to a facility.
No question catching a problem early on that's really potentially within normal limits by vital signs, but this data basically puts it all together and looks at so many factors that in total tells a different story, apparently.
You know, my daughter's a nurse, and she always used to report to me the worst nightmare was to call a physician in the middle of the night. And what does the physician ask? What are their vital signs? Well, many times a patient's vital signs can be within normal limits, but the nurse who's there for really 12-hour shifts these days recognizes there really is something going on with the patient, can't necessarily put their finger on what's happening. So we've now taken what we call an assessment, a self-assessment, the nursing assessment that the nurses do in the hospital, and we have recreated those questions and made them available for somebody to do a self-assessment or a guided self-assessment. So as a Comfort Keeper employee a caregiver might be in the home, somebody may not be able to answer those questions on their own or go into the app and answer the questions. But the caregiver could say, how are you feeling today, Mrs. Smith? How's your appetite? It's really very simple questions, and nobody knows what's happening better with their body than the individual.
So we're very excited to be partnering with you and bringing this into the home care setting because this is so important. We have a video clip here that shows a little bit about how this works in the home. So let's take a look at that.
Henry is an 87-year-old man who lives independently. He does a self-assessment as part of his daily routine to keep his health in check. Henry takes his vitals each morning and answers a series of health questions.
Do you have rapid or irregular heartbeats? Do you have chest pain, shortness of breath, or feel lightheaded with exertion? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Are you experiencing at times confusion? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Peripheral vascular assessment.
Thanks to a tool called the Rothman Index, Henry and his family are able to monitor his health score that shows any declines in real time.
Any shortness of breath that you're experiencing? No. Excellent. Good. Good.
Henry's family was looking for a tool which would enable them to help him better remain independent and manage his own health. The beauty of the Rothman Index is it takes all of the soft data that we do a very poor job of connecting that data, and it gives you one health score. The computer shows his health trend, and they can compare how he looks today to days prior to make sure that, in fact, he's stable.
That was exciting, Darlene. That's an example of a patient in the home that's answering some questions. So how are the questions married to the data collection of the vitals?
In order to create a Rothman Index, we need vital signs as well as a review of systems. So in a hospital setting, the nurse would do the review of systems. In a home setting, the patient, the client, can do their own review of systems, as well as a loved one could do, or a caregiver could do a guided self-assessment. What's exciting is what you saw on the screen was Henry using old technology, using a blood pressure cuff, using an oximeter, using a thermometer.
You have to have all this
and you have to
different
have
pieces of
all of these
equipment.
separate pieces of equipment. It's not necessarily quite so easy.
Difficult and time consuming.
Right.
And then doing a phone call to answer
And then
the
doing a
questions.
phone call.
Yeah.
Now, we're not giving up that technology. In Henry's case, he is visually impaired and wouldn't find it easy to use an app or to use a other type of piece of equipment. So what we've tried to do is really be agnostic. And for those who need to use the old technology, it's available. But we're very excited to introduce new technology, really state-of-the-art technology.
Right.
The first piece of machinery we have partnered with is a company called Bodymetrics. And Bodymetrics is a 3-ounce piece of equipment. Touch it, Michael.
Yeah.
It weighs
Nothing. Yeah.
You can carry it in your pocket. It also has a lanyard. But the beauty of this piece of technology is not only does it talk to you, but within 20 seconds, you can take all of your vital signs.
Wow.
So there are 5 sensors, one on the side, one on the front and the back, and the thermometer sensor, and then for oximeter. And I'll just take a moment to demonstrate, because it's just that quick.
Insert finger in sensor and rest hands.
So you just touch those
So
points
you just touch
and
all the
hold it there.
sensors, hold it, and you'll see on the bottom of the screen that it takes 20 seconds. It also provides you with an ECG. So you really get the picture of your heart, you get your oxygen, you get your...
And so all this data is collected and then wirelessly sent to your system?
Wirelessly sent to a free app that we provide both for Android and for iOS applications. And the Rothman Index questions, the self-assessment questions, are now on the app. So all a client would have to do was take their vital signs, automatically sent through the cloud, HIPAA-compliant cloud. We protect and identify all patient information. And then they go onto the app and open up the app, and within that app they'll see, how is your appetite today? Do you have any shortness of breath? It takes about 5 or 6 minutes, but it's very, very user-friendly. They push submit, and in real time, they then will see a graph of themselves.
Go to break. When we come back, find out even bigger, newer technology than that. Stay with us.
The Harvey Center for Integrative Medicine is helping people every day to thrive and live healthy, vital lives. Our integrative approach combines conventional medicine with holistic and innovative therapies to help you achieve optimal function. Are you ready to function at 100% of your ability? Dr. Fred Harvey customizes tools and treatments to achieve optimal wellness at any age.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Harvey. Do you want to feel vital, vibrant, and fully energized? If so, call our office to find out how.
When a stroke or injury impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our dedicated team of specialists, personalized treatment plans, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Darlene, this is really exciting technology. Welcome back. Hopefully you've tuned in this whole show, but we've talked about this Bodymetric, which captures lots of vital signs. Still maybe a little bit hard for certain people to utilize something like that. You have even even more upgraded technology than that, even, I hear.
We do. I like to call it Get Smart.
There you go.
I don't know how many of you used to watch the Get Smart show, or even what was
Everybody
it, the
watched Get
Jetsons?
Smart, yeah.
Though the Roomba was plugged in, now you don't even have to plug it in. But we recognized early on that the average person will use, if they take the Fitbit out of the drawer, the average usage is 6 months. And so what we're really trying to encourage people to do is be proactive with their own health. When you look at the home care, what you're doing now in home care, many times the person that you're taking care of, their loved one doesn't live local.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the peace of comfort, the comfort they will have, the peace of mind they will have, knowing that there is a monitor, somebody's monitoring their loved one in their home. And also at that same time, it really encourages the person's independence.
Yeah.
And if you looked back at the video, Henry expressed how comforting it was that he was aware of what was going on. It really made him better aware of what was going on with himself, as well as his family now having that same comfort.
The technology sphere is growing by billions of dollars. Everybody's getting into it, and wearable technology is really where it's at. And so this is the piece that does what?
It does everything. You put it on your wrist, and we control it by a motherboard, by our own computer. Again, all HIPAA compliant, and you have to do absolutely nothing.
Wow.
It takes all of your vital signs.
And that's what people need, not to have to do anything.
It takes all of your vital signs.
Yeah.
It has an SOS button.
Okay.
It has a GPS, so for somebody who might have some memory impairment, it will let us know where you are. As a home health agency, you'll be able to monitor them from afar. It has a cell phone. It's cellular.
Really?
So now you no longer are tied into having to carry a phone in your pocket. This does everything for you. It is a passive fall detection system. So because it has an accelerometer and a gyroscope, it senses when you're on the floor and will call you right on your wrist and ask, do you need somebody to come and help you? The other exciting thing is this is patient-centric. So it's all about you. It's so sophisticated that if your normal vital signs are 100/80 while you're sitting, and it now it recognizes that you're sitting in your chair and your vital signs are now 180/100, we're going to call you to see what's going on because we know that's not within your normal limit. We will also then be able to really become much more sophisticated, and based on all the data that is captured from the watch, we'll call you and talk to you about all of those self-assessment questions or some of those self-assessment questions that we need in order to be able to create your unique Rothman Index score.
Yeah, I want to be sure it's not entirely passive in that to create a score, you're going to have to answer questions about yourself. You can do that utilizing the watch.
So the watch captures all the vitals.
It captures that.
And then how does it, then you still have to answer the question.
You still have to answer the question.
What are some of the ways you can do that?
Through the application, well, there'll be a free app that comes with the watch.
The watch will pop up and ask you the questions?
Yes. In the first release, that won't happen, but later in the fall, it will be programmed to call you and specifically ask you those questions. So it will be voice activated.
So they may get a phone call.
Correct.
And the voice will answer the questions that way, and they can push the button on the
Correct.
phone. I understand you also have a tablet that
we
people
do.
could use.
So
it's a
it'll
little
be
bit more
Bluetooth to a
interactive.
tablet.
Yeah.
We really want to give the entire gamut of what's comfortable for you may not be comfortable for somebody else. So we've made available tablet, phone, computer. You can go onto your computer and sign in. Whatever works for the individual.
So can a loved one from afar be able to monitor this also?
Yes, we will give them a unique...
With permission, but
Correct.
yes, that's where when I show these to my friends, they want them for their parents.
Sure.
Yeah, that's.
It even tells time, doesn't it?
It does. We say, and it even is a watch.
And it even is a watch.
Correct.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So then that data is collated into the Rothman Index on a daily basis.
That is, as often as an individual answers the questions, will be as frequent as a new data point is put onto their graph.
So if somebody doesn't call in, will the system call them? And,
Yes.
Okay.
So there's what we like to call alarms or alerts. We, again, do not take the place of sound clinical decision making. We do not diagnose, but it gives the clinicians the opportunity to understand at a glance what's changing with their client, their patient, and be able to make the decisions on behalf of that individual.
So at Comfort Keepers, our goal is to have somebody monitoring this for our patients and our clients, and to be able to make the call to the appropriate party to intercede. We're not going to be making medical decisions for people, but somebody needs to be alerted that there's a problem, that the score has declined. Let's take a look at the graph here on the screen and tell us a little bit about what people are going to see when we look at the scoring.
Okay. The person themselves, if they're looking at their own graph, will just see a general line that's going up and down. The caregiver, the physician, or the nurse will then be able to see the individual components. So they'll see what the actual blood pressure is, what the actual pulse rate is, and they will see the answers to the questions as yes or no. And so they can see what's changing.
The score, you know, the plots on the graph are going to change on a daily basis, and you'll have parameters as to when somebody needs to take a closer look, where there's a problem brewing.
Yes.
And then you'll
and
also
that person will be, in your case, your Comfort Keepers people.
Right.
Or whoever is utilizing this. I think we need to make it clear. Life Sciences doesn't monitor it.
Right.
Companies that are taking care of patients monitor.
Right.
We provide them the information.
Yeah. So then we can then, as I said, you know, if we notice a problem,
yes,
you will also. It also provides the backup as to why that score declined.
Yes.
Correct?
So if you want to call Dr. Jones about one of your patients, you can give him this information.
Have you discussed this with local doctors, for example, and gotten any feedback as to what their thoughts are?
We haven't progressed to that point. We have to be able to offer the things which we're just doing. You're our first.
Yeah, we're very excited to be piloting this out in the community.
I will tell you, Michael, 2 weeks ago I was at the White House and met with Lieutenant Colonel who works in the medical unit, and they're very excited about both the body metrics, which they're already starting to use, as well as the sensor band.
Well, we're out of time. This has been exciting. We're very excited to be partnering with the Live Sciences. Give us a call if you'd like to demo this product in your home. We know that it can save lives. We know it can really improve your health and allow you to stay independent longer at home. So give Comfort Keepers a call and get some of this latest technology in your home. Thanks for watching. I hope it was great. See you again next week on Thriving on the Sun.
Comfort Keepers, Comfort Keepers, 'cause there's no place quite like home. Call Comfort Keepers.